Hello everyone, my name is Alex and it's time for tutorial. Today I want to show you how I made the drag and drop mechanics on touchscreens in Unity. We will make a small project from scratch. The result and script you can find on a GitHub, the link in the description. Let's start. Let's start from creating a new project. Enter in Unity Hub, click New, enter a project name, select the location and click the Create button. Wait a couple of minutes and voila, we can start. Let's start from project settings. We will create an application for Android or iOS. Let's switch platform for Android. After this, let's create a plane. There will be a ground for our cubes, which we will move by touch. The white plane is very boring, so let's create the material. Let's change the color of material and set the smoothness to 0 for better looking. And let's create the cube, reset the position. And now we see that the plane is too high, so let's move it a little bit down. For this cube I already prepared a small sprite to see the edges of this cube. Let's just drag and drop it to sprite folder and then to the cube. Duplicate it several times and place in different positions. Now we can start creating our script. I always make different folders for different resources. Now let's create the empty object, name it Move Objects, and add our script to this object. I'm using Visual Studio Code, and first of all let's clean a little bit this starting script. We need two public variables. The first one will be string, where we will write a tag name of the objects which we want to drag and drop, because we don't want all objects on our scene to be moved. The second one will be the camera, from which we will calculate all our parameters. After this, we need a lot of private variables for our calculations. You will understand the meaning of all of them when we will start to write the code. In this script we don't need a start method, and we need to change the update method for fixed update method, because we don't need to play this code every frame as in update method. In fixed update method, this code will be executed in 2 times less. So this is the better practice, to put the code who is responsible for the movements, touches and something like this. First of all, we will check if in this frame is only one touch and if there are any touches on the screen. If there is not one, so the 0 or more fingers on the screen, we will put dragging and touched variables to false and exit the fixed update method by using return. If there is a one touch, we define this touch and its position, and then we need 3 if statements for different phases of this touch. It can begin, moved, and ended or cancelled. If the touch is began, we define the hit and the ray, which we calculate from the camera by the screen point to ray method. If our ray hits something and this ray, which was drawn from the place where you click on the screen, hit the object with our tag name, we will make the next steps. First of all, we need to indicate the transform of the hitted object, its position to the previous position variable, and its rigid body. Then we calculate backwards from the world point to the screen point from the previous position, and calculate the X and Y positions. We set the touched variable to true. And now we also have to change the properties of our object. Let's create the private function setDraggingProperties. And send our hitted rigid body as a parameter. In this function, we change 3 parameters in our rigid body. IsKinematic and useGravity we set to false, and change the drag option. Later, after the first check how it works, we remove the kinematic parameter, and you can see 2 different abilities how it can work. The second if statement, we want to work only if it's moved and if it's already touched. In this case, we set dragging to true, calculate 2 new parameters of X and Y positions now, and calculate the new vector free of current position. Then we calculate the new world position. This is the difference between screen to world point of current position and the previous position. And we want to set the Z value to null, because we are moving only on X and Y. So now we can change the velocity of our rigid body. For this we use our world position and divide it by the time delta time. and we want to set the current position for the previous position variable for the next round of this fixed update method. The third if statement we want to execute only if the touch phase was ended and cancelled and the object is already dragging. So for this we set dragging and touch variables to false and reset the previous position variable. After this we can execute our function to set back our properties of heated object. And that's all. Let's check what we've done. Before we start, we need to fill the dragging tag variable and drag and drop our main camera in a camera variable. I decided to show you how it works on my iPhone, so I changed the platform for iOS as we did it before, and in project settings you should find the Unity Remote device and select your device. For the better view, let's set Align with View for our main camera to see all our cubes. Let's start. I use Unity Remote on my phone, so you can see now how I touched by my finger the cubes, and you can see how they moved on a phone and in the editor. Now you can see when I release my finger, the cube stays in the same place where I leave them, and the rotation stays the same. This is because we changes our kinematic property. Let's delete it and try again. Now, when I release, you can see that gravity is working and our cubes works as a real cubes in the real world. Sometimes we can see the glitch that our properties of the cubes didn't reset back to free options. To avoid this, we can execute the setFreeProperties function at the beginning of our fixed update. Now we can see that everything works fine. But there is one more problem. There are a lot of errors in our console. This error appears because our setFreeProperties function executes with the toDragRigidBody variable, but sometimes this variable does not exist. So before execute this function, let's check if toDragRigidBody variable exists. Let's clear our console and start again. Let's drag a couple of cubes, and we can see that the console is clear. If you like this tutorial, please click like button, subscribe, and click that little bell near the subscribe. The link for all this project in GitHub you can find in the description. If you want to watch more interesting videos, you can check out my devlogs video on my channel or interesting handmade videos of my wife on her channel. The link in the description. Thank you for watching. See you later.